Hello there, everyone. Men, women, children of all ages. This is the jack of all trades with the foul mouth, Commodore Urban. And I figured I'd take a break from my 67th anniversary series of videos for the maiden voyage of the SS United States to give you this latest update on the 1/350 scale ready to assemble plastic model kit of the RMS Lusitania by Mr. Hobby. A lot has been done since the last videos. I'm going to cover what I've done and tell you how I did it. So, first thing first, you can see I've got it all laid out. And let's go ahead and grab this piece here. Since the last video, I have added the anchor chains that run around here. They run all the way to the front of the ship. Those have been added. And I have went over all the stuff, touched up all the paint here and there. And I've done the same here. And you're probably wondering, why did I paint this solid dark? Well, that's a good question. I'll explain why. This was a trick I learned from my dad. Like when you start piecing your model together like this, like your walls, once it's sealed up, it'll all be dark on the inside and it'll give a better contrast to the windows for the ship. So basically it just kind of does a darkening effect. So, and of course, I still need to get me another jack staff since mine broke. Fucking sucks. Need to get another jack staff for the back end. And another piece I really worked on a lot of was this one. I've got all of these areas painted in a dark brown like they would have been on the actual ship. And I also painted the plates, the bases where the funnels were going to be sitting, in a dark gray. This is the way it would have been in real life. And if you're wondering, these little gray blotches, those are the beds for the thermo tanks. And they sat on concrete pads. I actually did find that out. They were set on concrete pads. They were poured onto the deck of the ship. And if you're wondering about that one, this one, and this one, those are for winch motors to operate the lifeboat davits. They were also put on the top of the house structure. The only thing left I've got to do to this piece is to trim the side, because the side of it, the trim, is brown. I still got to paint all these little individual little skylights and stuff on all these little vents and shit. I've got all the skylights for the top of the house here, and they're clear, but I got to paint them brown. I've already started it, but I want to paint them to where go around the little squares to where they'll stay clear. That'll be a bitch. And once I do that, all these little tiny holes, that's where string will be ran through for the wiring for the funnels later. I gotta do that, and then I gotta install the wheelhouse, the funnels, all the thermo tanks and shit, the wireless room, and all the skylight hatches and all the ventilators and shit. And this piece will be done. The funnels themselves are basically done, except there's a few of them that have some nicks and chunks out of them I gotta repaint. And I've also got the funnel caps. Once I put the rigging and stuff through them and stuff and do all that, these will cap them off. And I've got the tops, or whatever, the support and internal supports too, they're over there. This deck piece is done, basically done. This one is basically done, except I gotta touch up the skylights here and here, and just add your thermo tanks and stuff, and that'll be done. This piece is basically done. This is the forward leading edge piece which your top of the house structure would sit here in the opening in the back. There'd be an opening here in the back end. That'd be your open veranda cafe. That'll be there. And of course, you know, I did this gray stuff in here too, so when you put the windows and stuff on, it'll darken it up, make a better contrast. Here's the top of the second class area of the ship. I've trimmed this out. This is where the railing would go, and I also got trim around the edges and do the windows and shit still. And I got to paint this little pad and this little pad like a gray for the vent to sit. As you can see here, that's done. This piece here too is done. This is the back end of the boat deck, and the inside of it is brown. Because if you've seen pictures of the veranda cafe, which I will show here in this book, see if I can find it. I'm getting close. Say top of structure. I think I might have passed it. Oh, right here. As you can see, it was wood trimmed. You can see the inside of it. It was wood. This is all this wood paneling. So I'm gonna replicate this wood paneling and shit. See, there's the deck, and the ceiling above it was white. So that means that this part here, I'm gonna have to paint all this back here white to replicate that ceiling. And that there, I've already started painting to replicate the deck. And these pieces here, I'm going to have to trim all these windows out in brown. And the doors, I have to paint all that shit. But see, I've already painted those areas brown. This is where the veranda cafe was, and it was paneled in this wood paneling. So that would go, like I said, that'd be to the back end of the ship. Okay. And one of the major projects I have been working on was painting all these fucking windows. This is a pain in the ass. And I'm not even done. I've gotten all those done. But I still have these on here to do. And I've got all this shit. So yeah, there's a lot. This is basically done, except I gotta do the little bit of the wood stripping that's around this. And of course the portholes in the doors, they were right here. I gotta do that. These pieces are done. I just gotta paint them up and touch them up a little bit. Here's the wheelhouse. This is basically about done. I just gotta touch up a few things and trim it out the rest of the way. And I can put this down onto that right there. So, and there is one set of cranes here. The version I want to do, I have to get me another set of cranes. Either make them, or I'm going to contact a friend of mine, see if he can help me get another set of cranes, as well as another set of these tanks. I need another set of tanks, another set of cranes, and another set of these hinge top can vents, because the two hinge top vents and the two water tanks were here on the top of this piece, and the two cranes would have been in the beds on these pieces here and on this on the other side. So that's the version of Lusitania I'm making. Here's a bunch of pieces I've been painting on. Yes, there's a lot of brown pieces. There's a lot of brown. There's the wireless room there. You know, there's just a lot of painting, like I said, with a model like this. A lot of painting and shit. And there's the mast. Those are done. These are done. And there's part of the superstructure that's done. Some more of the superstructure here. The only thing I gotta do is just paint the wood doors here and on there. Then we're done. This is all the railing. All this has been painted. All I gotta do is just put this attach it to the parts of the ship, and then if it has to have a brown top course, I'll put a brown top course on. There's the railings for the stairs. It's the little telegraphs and stuff for the bridge. Those for the aerials, and these are for the tops of the funnels. Those are done. And finally, the hull. The hull is basically finished, except I'm going to paint in the porthole. See, it already says Lusitania. I already got all the decals and shit in place. And I gotta install the lifeboat davits that go along there. See, Lusitania, Liverpool. And I've already trimmed the stern out with the gold trim on it. I just gotta paint the portholes and on the sides of the hull, and that'll be done. See, there's the davits there for the. There's the davits for the. Like I said, for this area here. And I got a new book from the library, an interlibrary loan book that's been helping me out a lot. The Unseen Lusitania, the ship and rare photos, or illustrations by Eric Sauter. This book has been a real big blessing in helping me get the ship. Like this picture here. I use this picture extensively to help me with painting this shit by looking at that shit. And this picture here, I was able to kind of get an overall sense of what the Lusitania was going to look like. And another view was this view here. And it kind of shows a lot of the details and shit, which you can see. I gotta still flesh out. So, but yeah, this book is fucking awesome. And this picture here too has really helped out with, especially seeing something like the doors and shit that are along in here. That's been helping me paint all that shit. So yeah. So there you have it, guys. That is the latest update on the 1/350 scale model of the Lusitania by Mr. Hobby. If you guys have any questions or comments about anything, leave them in the comment section down below and I will get back with you. And if you're new to the channel and you like what I'm doing, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and then you will be informed when the Commodore uploads a new video. So until next time, this is everyone's favorite jack of all trades with the foul mouth, Commodore Urban, saying have smooth seas, clear skies, happy sailing with you, and God bless. You take care now. Bye-bye.